Come on, that is not hard. Why don't you pay attention? What is the matter with you? This isn't actually hard. You aren't even trying. This is what we say to a child with reading and writing difficulties. The difficulty that is named as dyslexia, a kind of learning disability which affects reading and writing severely. Hello everyone, once again welcome back. This is Dr. Alka Arora, and today this video is going to share tips and techniques of managing dyslexics by teacher at school and at home by parents. But with all this, it is important that the difficulty should be given appropriate treatment, and appointing a professional, that is a dyslexic teacher, like seeking a professional help, is always advisable. When a child has difficulty, that means whatever we are doing to for the child should be particularly aimed at relieving the difficulty. Whatever we do for the child at school or at home, a child must be aware, a child must be realized that his reading difficulties, his reading problem does not define his personality, does not define his individuality. And it is evident from the history, it is evident from the researches that if these children are taken proper care of, if these children are provided appropriate intervention, the dyslexic children can do wonders. And in my previous videos, I have already mentioned few names like Albert Einstein, who have actually done wonders in their life and in spite of their dyslexic condition. What can be done for these children and what we can do as our part as a parent and as a teacher is important. So please keep watching this video till end, because I'm going to share the simplest of techniques to manage dyslexic children at home. And before we begin, I would again request to subscribe my channel if you haven't yet. So let's begin with the techniques of managing dyslexic. This video is going to take you to two approaches mainly. First is multisensory approach and second is reading buddies. Though there are other approaches too which are used to treat dyslexics, but this video is particularly going to talk about multisensory approach and reading buddies approach. So let's first start with multisensory approach. Multi. It is clear that it is more than one or two. Senses, we know that we have eyes, ears, the sense of hearing, the sense of sight, the sense of touch, hearing. So researchers say that when the whole of the brain is involved in learning, it helps in developing connections and making the memory stronger. So multisensory teaching approach is particularly based on this principle, that when we use more than one senses to receive a particular thing, then our brain gets activated and it starts behaving in a different way. That means the things we want to store in our memory, store in our brain, this function is activated when multiple senses are used. We already use normally in classrooms the sense of sight and sense of hearing is commonly used. It is obvious that the teacher uses chalkboard, the teacher uses some teaching aids, speaking is again using hearing, the sense of hearing. Whatever, these two senses are used most commonly in classes. But when we talk about multisensory approaches, it involves other senses also, like sense of touch with skin, the sense of taste with tongue, and plus kinesthetic sense also. Kinesthetic is movement. So when these senses, hearing, sight, smell, touch, movement and taste, these all senses are used. And one particular thing that is to be taken care of, that this use of senses, the usage of senses, 1, 2 or more, it must be combined, it must be seen relevant to the subject matter. It's not like the subject matter is not relevant and we are using these senses. So it is up to a teacher's fine judgment that what senses should be used for a particular subject matter. So multisensory approach activates the brain. Our brain grows more in a multisensory environment. So reading is a whole brain activity. It uses all the it uses different areas of brain, and all the brains are work synchronously while reading. So it is important to activate multiple areas of brain, and we already know that different senses are activated different. The brain has different areas for different senses. So multisensory approach, in short, activates the brain, and it helps in retrieving and storage of information more effectively. Now let us have few examples of this multisensory approach. Very simple examples, very simple techniques with the material that are already available at your home, and other material that can be bought from the market or from Amazon or any online website, that at a very nominal cost. But these techniques are very much effective, though there are other techniques too, but I am sharing few of them. So let's begin with the techniques of multisensory. First is spread sand. I am using suji, rava or suji, whatever we call this. I am using this and spreading it in a tray. What we will do is we'll ask the child to use his or her index finger to trace the alphabets in the sand. For example, we start with alphabet A. So this is using sight, hearing and the sense of touch. This is a very effective activity we normally use with preschoolers who are beginning to read and write, who are beginning to recognize the alphabets, who are beginning to actually learn the sounds of letters. So along with this writing, the sound can also be taught, like E in the egg says eh, eh, eh. So this is uppercase letter and we can write it on the sand like this. Second is air writing, like tracing the alphabets in air, keeping this wrist and elbow straight. Eh. A in the aeroplane says eh, eh, eh. B in the ball says b, b, b. So this is how we practice air writing. Next technique is sandpaper letters. These are sandpaper letters. A small board and the letter is written on sandpaper. What we say to a child is, using these two fingers, we ask the child to trace this alphabet. The alphabet is traced while saying the letter, the sound of the letter aloud, and let the shape of this letter be felt by the child. So again we are using this touch sense, and these sandpapers letters come with like in this set. These blue colored boards are vowels and consonants are in red color. So this is a very good way to teach dyslexic children about phonemes, about sound, and these are also commonly used with preschoolers. Especially Montessori approach uses these sandpaper letters, and these are these are available at very nominal cost at Amazon. And if you want to buy these sandpaper alphabets, the link is there in the description box. You can go to the link and buy these sandpaper letters. For preschoolers, even who are not having dyslexia or any kind of problem, for preschoolers also these alphabets are very, very beneficial. I am actually using these alphabets for my kids. Next is this board. This is alphabet tracing board. As you can see that letters are engraved on this wooden board, and this stylus, or you can say dummy pencil, is provided with this board, and we ask the child to trace the letter with the help of this stylus. this is great for pre-writing skills, this is great for teaching writing, and we are very very beneficial for the students who have problems with writing particularly. So the children with dyslexia who are unable to read, they'll read these aloud and write. So this will prevent them from confusing the mirror images from the right image. Or for example, in the last video I told about B. This B letter is often misread as its mirror image, and it's read as D. So this is very very beneficial, and this board is also available online, and it is available in other languages too, like other Indian languages, Telugu, Kannada, and it is like a very very beneficial for eye-hand coordination, for cognitive development, fine motor skills, logical thinking, confidence, imagination. Everything is sorted out with this single board. Next is what we can do is we can use these independent letters to teach the child about making words, like in the last video I mentioned about the child cannot differentiate between a single sound and the combination of sounds in a word. So making the words with these letters are very very beneficial. These can be used as for making words for the dyslexic. You how we can make the alphabets for using words. Sorry, for example, I am using this J-A-M. So J-A-M, jam, right? F-O-G, F-O-G, fog, right? So another word what we can do is F-I-N, fin, and again if fine. So these alphabets can also be used. These are uppercase letters, and similarly lowercase letters are also available in the market. So these were few approaches which we can use under multi-sensory techniques. Next is buddy reading. Buddy reading is an approach where a stronger reader or a fluent reader, he or she may be a student of same grade, a student of higher grade, a parent or a friend, a more mature person, anybody who is a stronger reader is paired with a student who has difficulties in reading. So this buddy reading is like a well planned approach where the stronger reader and the weaker reader read in unison. Unison means at the same time. The stronger reader waits for the dyslexic child, the weak reader, to read the particular sentence, and the time may be set like 10 minutes to 30 minutes for one session at a distraction free place. So what happens is, usually for children with reading disabilities, we recommend the books with bold letters, the books which present few like a small chunk of reading material at a time, and books with this kind of books help usually. For example, this book, if I particularly see, this book presents one picture and one sentence at one page, but how can I pick the figs? So this is a bit easier for the struggling reader or the reader who has just started, who has just learning to read. Again, this technique is used with preschoolers also. And what happens in buddy reading, particularly with dyslexic, at the end of this reading session, the child with dyslexia, the child with reading problems, may be asked few questions just to make sure the understanding of the concept, just to make sure that the child, the person has actually read and understood the words and is able to combine the words mentioned in the particular reading matter, making sure that the struggling reader understands and remembers whatever is written in the reading material, a book or a notebook. So this is the approach which is practiced. And one more technique is commonly used in this approach is stop, look, listen and think. Stop means stop at a particular word or a sentence or an alphabet. Look carefully. Listen what the body is saying and think. So this helps in making again the connections of the brain stronger. The brain receives the information and it needs the time to understand and store the information. So with all this, the reading buddy, the stronger reader, requires to have patience to wait for the struggler to understand and answer the queries. So while choosing a buddy for reading, a reading buddy, it should be taken care that the buddy reader has that much of patience, has that much of a technique to handle the weaker reader. So large print text words and are usually used, which are easy to look at. We can also use color highlighters, sticky notes, colorful stripes that can be these can add productivity to this approach, right? So this is reading buddy approach. And with the advancement of technology, we have lot of softwares like speech software that are used to help the individuals with dyslexia. And with the more advancement of technology, it is possible, wherever possible, if the school or the parent can afford, we can provide audio support. That is, the reading material is available in the form of audio book too. So this was a little bit about managing dyslexic at home, though there is vast research available on how to manage dyslexia and how the dyslexic brain works. This was a very small part of this, but again I would stress, please do not consider dyslexic children as mentally retarded. Please do not look down these dyslexic children as someone having problem, because these children can also lead a normal life. Yes, they are pretty normal in terms of intelligence, in terms of all the abilities, just they have problems in reading and writing. So thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you have liked the video, please give a thumbs up and share this video. Bye bye and have a good day.